Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This morning, I had faith on my mind. And I wanted to come to talk to you guys about faith. According to the Word of God, well, first we were taught faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And we translate that to mean that faith is believing that we will receive what we ask for without evidence that we will receive it. But that's not correct. I'm going to read in Hebrews 11 what, according to the Word, examples of our forefathers and their act of faith. So Hebrews 11, starting at chapter 4, it reads, "By faith Abel offered to God, to Yah, a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, through which he obtained witness that he was righteous, Yah testifying of his gifts, and through it he, being dead, still speaks. By faith Enoch was taken away so that he did not see death, and was not found because Yah had taken him. For before he was taken, he had this testimony that he pleased Yah. But without faith it is impossible to please him, for he who comes to Yah must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. By faith Noah, being divinely warned of things not yet seen, moved with godly fear, prepared an ark for the saving of his household, by which he condemned the world and became heir of the righteousness which is according to faith. By faith Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to the place which he would receive as an inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. By faith he dwelt in the land of promise, as in a foreign country, dwelling in tents, that Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he waited for the city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is Yah. For by faith Sarah also received strength to conceive seed, and she bare a child when she was past the age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore from one man, and him as good as dead, were born as many as the stars of the sky in multitude, innumerable as the sand which is by the seashore." And we're gonna. There's so many to examples of what faith is. And each one of these men and this woman that practiced their faith, it wasn't the fact that when God told them to do something, without evidence that they were going to get what God was telling them, they just up and did it. And I'm going to use a right now example of faith, because a lot of times the Most High unctions us to do something. And when I mean unctions us, he's calling us to do things, and we don't have the faith to do it because we're not understanding that the Most High is putting thoughts in our mind and giving us these feelings, uncomfortable feelings, and he's trying to get us to do something, but it's against the norm. It's against what you're taught all your life. So a lot of us ignore We harden our hearts when we hear the Most High unctioning us, calling us. And when I remember when the Most High first called me, He revealed to me about His Sabbath. And when He revealed to me about His Sabbath, all I knew was being a Christian, going to church on Sunday, and believing in Jesus. I was taught like most Christians, as long as you believe in Jesus, you're okay, you're safe. You go to church, you're okay. And the holidays was just, actually I was taught Jesus was born on Christmas and Easter. He rose on Sunday on Easter. We're not taught to look into those things. It's something we were raised from birth to believe. So we don't question it. We just live accordingly. So when the Most High showed me different, it wasn't a question of was it God. It was more of a question to me of, oh my God, if your commandments is still standing, oh my God. So I did my research on the Sabbath, and I prepared a paper, and I took it to my pastor and his wife. And after the meeting, I didn't feel very, I don't feel that they received it or whatever. I left the meeting feeling low or whatever, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, most of the time when the Most High calls us to do something, it's not going to feel comfortable. It's not going to feel, it's different from what you're used to. And nobody else most of the time is going to understand. People might even think you're crazy and done lost your mind, because after a while people thought I was crazy. People still may think I'm crazy and I lost my mind, but those that know me, they know I'm not. They understand. But I decided after he showed me his Sabbath, I felt I left the church and I didn't, I stayed home for about 6 months. Then I started to feel lonely because I was so used to going to a building to worship the Most High. So I started, I asked my mom, did she know of a church that kept the Sabbath that wasn't a Seventh-day Adventist? And she showed me this little church in Hollandale. And I started to sit, would go and visit and sit in the back and watch. And I liked what I seen. But in the midst of that, the Most High also had done revealed to me about the holidays. And when I researched, I found out that the holidays had nothing to do with the Messiah. So I'm like, oh my goodness. Again, by that time I had started feeling very, very deceived by the world, period. I started to get angry. I didn't trust anything that America had to sell anymore from that day. So when I found this church and they were keeping the Sabbath and they teaching the feast days, so after watching them for about 3 weeks to a month, I joined the church. And to back it up, before I even left the Sunday church, just before I left the Sunday church, the Most High used this guy to prophesy to me and to tell me what the Most High was calling me for. But at the time, I didn't understand because it was for future. It wasn't for me to act on at that time. The Most High, it was just the beginning. So when I went to this church, we were keeping the feast days and the laws. And in the midst of me worshiping there, the Most High began to show me that we were the children of Israel. And I try and reveal to the people, but it wasn't received. And I could go on and on, but about my journey in this faith walk, but the point of the story is faith is when the Most High commissions you to do something for His kingdom, that you do it. No matter, you believe what He say, and you act on it, whether it's good, understand or not. That unction in you is from the Most High, and you do it. I don't care what you believe, what you've been taught all your life, what you think other people may say or do. Faith is the belief in the Most High and doing what He have unctioned you to do. And this is very important in this time that we are living in, because the Most High is, the word church in Latin is ecclesia. And in the Hebrew, it is, I think it's the mikra. I think it's the mikra, but I'm not for sure. But we're going to stick with the ecclesia now, since most of you are more familiar with the New Testament. The church, the English, the ecclesia. That word means the called out ones. And what the Most High is doing now is He is calling His people out of this religious system and out of this world system. He is gathering His people. He is calling them out. He is building His ecclesia, His church. And He's doing that by calling His people to Him. And it is very important that at this time that we're living in, that we obey that unction to follow the Messiah. Because you will be found in unbelief. If the Most High, He will chase you for a while. If you're doing it out of not understanding, not knowing it's Him. But if you continue to ignore Him, He will become your enemy. He's going to leave you alone. When you stop feeling that unction to do what He's telling you to do, that you don't believe that you're supposed to do, when you don't feel that unction anymore, you have seared the Spirit. You have grieved the Spirit. He's not calling you anymore. So my advice and my prayer for you is that when the Most High give you an unction to do, that you get up and do. I don't care. He says anyone that loves mom, dad, brother, sister, or anything more than Him is not worthy of Him. So if the Most High, if you're feeling convicted or feel guilty or feeling, when you go a certain place, even especially to these churches nowadays, because I know with all the truth going out there, a lot of y'all are sitting up in these churches, and when you go on Sunday, you're feeling very convicted because you know the Spirit is not there. But because of man and because of your unbelief, you're going to still sit there in that dead religious congregation. And you're going to die with Babylon, because the Most High is calling His people out, and you're rejecting the call because of what you have been taught by men. So I urge anyone that is that's feeling the unction or the urge of the Most High to do anything, that you do it. That's what faith is, stepping out. You don't You don't know, but you know it's God calling you to do something. You step out and go. You don't know what it is. You just do what he's telling you to do. And by, you will understand more and more as you seek him as you go. Now, all be blessed. Shalom.